But as I said, our focus right at the very top will be on the big numbers. What would happen if Lok Sabha elections were held today? Just to tell you that this is a poll done for India Today by CVoter. It's done twice a year in the month of August, Independence Day month, and Republic Day month. That's in January. And it's been going on for more than a quarter of a century. We'll give you all the details of just how much the nature of the poll, the methodology. Also, as I said, Raj Chengappa, Group Editorial Director, is with us. We'll have other guests also joining us. Rajat Sethi, political analyst who's worked closely with the BJP in the past. Sanjay Jha, who's been with the Congress, and a political analyst. Brijesh Kalappa, national spokesperson of the Congress, with us, as is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. But Maria, the big numbers, I know that there is no Lok Sabha election till 2029, but every 6 months or 5 to 6 months, we do this poll as a tracker to get a sense of what would happen if elections are held today.
And Rajdeep, the state assembly elections perhaps are enough indicator of how the mood of the nation right now is. If the Lok Sabha elections, the elections to those 543 seats in the Lok Sabha are held today. These are the first big numbers that are coming in now. Just look at these numbers right on your television screens. If the elections are held today, NDA will be at 47%, similar to what they won just a year ago. India bloc at 39%, that's -2. Others at 14%, they are gaining around 2%. So NDA continues to be at the position they were in 2024. India bloc down by 2%, others at 14%, they are making a gain of roughly around 2%. And if this number, if this percentage actually translates into numbers, let's look at that data now. NDA will be at 352. The current strength of NDA is roughly around 293. So there is a significant gain of roughly 28 seats. India bloc 182, -26. Others at 9, that is -2. Rajdeep, your assessment.
Yeah, look, these are the numbers where we are comparing to the previous mood of the nation, which was in August of 2025. So if you look at it, Maria, over these 5 months, NDA is gaining 28 seats. India bloc is gaining is losing 28. We'll get Yashwant Deshmukh of CVoter to tell us where those gains and losses are coming. But net, Raj Chengappa, for your first reaction, the sense one gets looking at those numbers is Narendra Modi, after the seeming setback that he suffered in 2024 Lok Sabha, where the BJP was reduced to a minority government, has almost reconsolidated or regrouped. And we saw signs of that in August 2025's poll. But now we are seeing a sustained period of stability. On the other hand, it appears that the India alliance, which 1.5 years ago appeared to have the momentum with it, has again taken a few steps back. Would that be the broad analysis of what is how you are seeing the mood of the nation? Mr. Modi recapturing or retrieving lost ground from 2024 in a substantial measure?
Well, let's put it this way. I agree with you, and I would frame it a little differently. I think Prime Minister Modi has regained his mojo, if you'd like to call that, given the fact that this particular period internationally was among the most trouble that we had experienced, whether you look at Trump and the tariffs that he's imposed and the kind of global churn that he's caused. Look at our neighborhood, which both Bangladesh and Pakistan are good examples of what the kind of turmoil that is there. So we've improved relations that's there. And of course, China has always kept us on a blow hot, blow cold. Globally, there's so much of turbulence that's happening, and yet Prime Minister Modi and the NDA and the BJP, of course, seem to be having tremendous amount of political and economic resilience to weather this storm and come out looking far, far better than what they did in the previous poll. If you recall, Rajdeep, that those numbers had dropped in the previous poll as compared to February 2025, where the BJP and the NDA had lost. In fact, the BJP had dropped down to around 260 seats. Now I think you will see it go up quite substantially, giving it a simple majority, and the NDA going right up to 352 seats if we take the vote share that's there. So remarkable turnaround that has happened, and just goes to show that Mr. Modi's leadership, the trust that people have on him, and the fact that in these very troubled times, They're looking for a leader that can deliver on all these key issues that are there. And as you can see, the economy is also doing very well. We've seen the fact that there is a Goldilocks period that is being talked about. You have high growth, low inflation. All these indicate very stable leadership, very difficult times, and yet they seem to have come out with flying colors in this particular poll.
Right. Let's get more reactions. Rajat Sethi and Sanjay Jha with us. Sanjay, I know you have a very different perspective to Prime Minister Modi, his leadership. Raj Chengappa saying, look, there's a trust factor that's underlying these polls. Do you go along with that, Sanjay? Is there a trust factor? Why don't you take that, Brajesh Kalappa, why don't you take that, since you're with the Congress party? The Congress party clearly has not built on the momentum that it had in the immediate aftermath of the 2024 mood of the nation. You've substantially declined. In fact, if elections are held today, you're at 182. That's the India alliance such as it exists today.
If I'm not mistaken, Rajdeep, I think even during the elections in the 2024 general elections, the mood of the nation had predicted that the NDA would get at least 75 more seats than they actually got. And if I'm not mistaken on that. So therefore, I think these mood of the nations are regularly done in order to kind of show the emperor the mirror, and a very happy image at that. But that's all right. I think as far as the real issues are concerned, whether the aftermath of Pahalgam, whether you want to call it a success or a failure, is something which will decide on the basis of where you're seated. And if we have still not been able to identify who are the attackers in Pahalgam, how did they come in, how did they go, and where are they? And at least after the Mumbai attacks, we knew who were the attackers, and we knew we had somebody on hand. I think until we do that, I think there is going to be a question mark with regard to how these kind of major terrorist attacks are dealt.
We will give you the numbers of how. You see, this is a poll that shows the mood of people. It's one thing. It's not the political mood. It is of people of the country. But Maria, you have more numbers to share with us.
Okay, so let's look at the next set of numbers. So the question that we had asked was, if Lok Sabha polls were held today, what will be the numbers in terms of the big two political parties, that is the BJP and the Congress? BJP would be roughly around 41%, similar to what they had 1.5 years ago. And the Congress at 20%, -1, others at 39%. That includes BJP Plus and also other members of the India bloc. And if that were to be converted from vote share to the actual seat numbers, the BJP would be around 287 seats. They would have gained 27 seats from their previous tally, and the Congress would be at 80 -17. So, Rajdeep, the question also would be that if this is a mirror to the government, shouldn't it be seen also as a mirror to the opposition? Why are they not able to consolidate and improvise on the numbers that they had in 2024 Lok Sabha polls?
Absolutely, Maria, particularly given the difficult times the government has gone through in the last 12 months, both on the economic and foreign policy front. Look at what's happened with tariffs at one level on the foreign policy front. Look at what's happened domestically when you've got constant questions being raised over issues like unemployment, agitations in different parts of the country. Even then, the opposition seemingly has not been able to capitalize on the mood of discontent 11 years into power. So clearly, Mr. Modi's done something right. The word that Raj Chengappa used, which I think resonates, is a trust factor. It's not often that Sanju Verma will smile at a question that I posed to her. But Sanju Verma, these numbers should make you feel good, that there is something that you're doing at the moment which is giving people a sense that whatever else is happening around us, difficult economic conditions, difficult foreign policy situation, people are trusting Mr. Modi. So you can smile today.
Rajdeep and Maria, and of course, Mr. Chengappa, I just want to say that, we are all aware of the two black swan events that have happened in the last couple of years. The COVID pandemic in 2019-20 was a huge black swan event, followed by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which started in 2022. That was the second black swan event. I say that the third black swan event was Prime Minister Narendra Modi becoming the Prime Minister for the third time in a row, the only leader to become the Prime Minister consecutively for the third time in 62 long years. And why I call it a black swan? Because the entire Darbari ecosystem had written off Prime Minister Modi saying, 2014 was a fluke, 2019 किसी तरह इन्होंने सरकार बना ली, 2024 में कुछ भी हो जाए, नरेंद्र मोदी तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनेंगे. You have had 3 black swan events, and I say 2029 will be the 4th black swan event. Narendra Modi will take charge at the helm of affairs again. But I will substantiate what I'm saying, not with rhetoric, but pure data. Going by what you have put out on your screens a couple of minutes back, the combined vote share of NDA, you're saying will be 47%. The combined vote share of NDA in 2024 was 42.5%, which means that there is going to be a 4.5% increase in vote share if Lok Sabha elections were held today, and that 4.5% increase is something that the NDA will have in its kitty. You are also saying that vis-a-vis the NDA getting 293 seats in 2024 Lok Sabha, this time we will get 352, which is a rise of 59 seats. And look at what you're talking, in terms of what the opposition is all about. You're saying that the opposition's vote share will be 39% vis-a-vis 40.6% that they secured in Lok Sabha 2024, which means you're talking of a 1.6% fall for the dot alliance. And you're also saying vis-a-vis 234 seats that the dot alliance got in Lok Sabha 2024, they will be limited to 182 now, which means you're saying that their seat tally will be down by 52 seats. So to break it all into numbers, NDA will see a rise in vote share, NDA will see a rise in seats, the dot alliance will see a fall in vote share, the dot alliance will also see a fall in seats.
Sanju Verma, just one correction. You got all your facts right, except that Narendra Modi is not the first Prime Minister to win 3 consecutive elections. There was someone called Jawaharlal Nehru who also won 3 consecutive elections, 52, 57 and 62. He won 3 consecutive elections.
You said something, I need to counter that, please, with no offense to you.
Yes.
The reason I said, and I say it loud and clear for all of Rajdeep Sardesai's fans who are watching this, Nehru was not the first elected Prime Minister of India. We all know Nehru was the first selected Prime Minister of India.
Madam, 52 he was elected. No. Madam, you see now you're no. I just wanted to make a correction because it's important to do these fact checks. Please, ma'am, 52. You can say what you want, selected, elected. I'm only giving the facts. Ma'am, I don't want to get into a dispute. Let's focus on the numbers. Madam, I have to. Let's go forward. Let's go forward, ma'am. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. I want to bring in Rajat Sethi for just a moment. Rajat Sethi, the trust factor. Sanju Verma threw numbers at us, and those numbers are reflected on the screen. Maria will come up with more in a moment. But the truth of the matter is, there seems to be a trust factor associated with Modi, and perhaps the opposition has been unable to get its act together post 2024. The India Alliance itself is today in some element of disarray, fighting with each other in the states, perhaps together at the center, but no common minimum program. You're only as good as your opposition is. And in a way, is this about the trust for Modi or a certain lack of confidence in the opposition?
Well, I think, Rajdeep ji, what I felt is that over the couple of years that NDA post-2024 elections has been trying to regain ground, they have shown remarkable tenacity and consistency. They stayed with the same set of ministers. They believed in the team, and then they went on to the basics, trying to correct wherever they felt things were going wrong, including the economy. They put in a lot of effort in bringing reforms. It was a very positive agenda with which the NDA approached. But on the other side, what I felt was that why was the opposition not able to capitalize on the window of opportunity that they had? A wrong selection of issues. They kept selecting issues which did not resonate on the ground. Election chori, vote chori was carried on as a narrative for 1 full year without, credibly registering this into the minds of the voters that this is an issue about democratic rights and all of those things. That remained a very philosophical discussions which were held with Rahul Gandhi and his set of advisors. Beyond that, the resonance was very low. That is number one. Number two was this credibility crisis that India alliance suffers throughout. Look at Maharashtra. Maharashtra was one state where they, saw huge gains in 2024 elections. But thereafter, what happened? The entire formation collapsed and within because of this set of ideological inconsistencies, because there is no central glue. See, CMPs, the common minimum programs, does not work in today's day and age. You need to have the core
And there
ideological
isn't any.
glue to
Rajat,
hold your
there
alliance
isn't
partners
any
together.
common minimum
Otherwise, your
program
own MLAs
also.
will leave the party. And
The
this is what is happening
the
in Bihar.
last mood of the nation, as we have been discussing, was done in August 2025. And at that time, when the question was asked, who's best suited to be the next Prime Minister, it was roughly around 52% for Prime Minister Modi. Right now, that number has gone up by 3%. In January 2026, as of today, when we asked that question, who's best suited to be Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi is at 55%, Rahul Gandhi is at 27%. So what clearly shows is that in these difficult times, when there are economic uncertainties, global turbulence, Indians feel that Prime Minister Modi is best suited to govern the country. The next question that was asked was, how do Indians look at the performance of Prime Minister Modi? Mr. Modi as the Prime Minister, just look at that number. It is at 57%. That's how high his approval rating is, at 57%. And when we are, of course, there was an assessment of whether it will be average or poor. Roughly around 24% said that it is poor. Another set of graphics now, performance of NDA. Let's look at that. Overall satisfaction is at 52% as of today. Unsatisfied at 24%. Let's put that graphics out now. Performance of NDA, when the question was asked. Those who are satisfied with Prime Minister Modi-led NDA government's performance at the center, it stands at 52%, unsatisfied at 24%. So the big takeaway, Raj Chengappa, would be that when it is about difficult times, Indians feel that Prime Minister Modi's leadership is strong enough to take India through these difficult times, and hence he's best suited to be the Prime Minister at 55%.
In terms of vote percentages, apart from what you've said about the popularity of Prime Minister Modi and the fact that being in the 12th year of his prime ministership, he enjoys a 55% rating in terms of performance. That's really outstanding if you look at it, given the fact that a lot of anti-incumbency tends to develop by the 12th, 13th, or even the 8th or 9th year of any prime minister. So that's great going for him. But if you take a look at why this is happening, I think that's the most important question. If you look at our previous polls in August, the percentages, vote percentages, barely 0.9% difference with the NDA as compared to what they're getting right now. And from the BJP is only 0.3%. So why does the number of the BJP go up from 260 to 287 this time, and the NDA go up from 323 to 352? That's the big question that is, we'll give you the answers as to why we are seeing this remarkable surge that's there. And really what has happened is two things. One, as you've rightly put it, in these very troubled times, Prime Minister Modi and his government have delivered on all the key issues, and therefore you see that vote of confidence that is there on them. And secondly, the opposition has failed to project itself as an alternative. If you see that actually what happens is that the opposition alliance vote share numbers go down by 2%, and the string of defeats that they experienced that was talked earlier by the BJP spokesperson, Maharashtra, Haryana, Bihar,
barring
and of course,
Jharkhand,
Delhi,
all elections, all assembly
these
polls
assembly elections
since
began to have
2024.
an
Yes.
impact in terms of the total numbers. So if you look, what happens is, it is because in this very troubled atmosphere that you described, it is the NDA and particularly Prime Minister Modi that has shown greater political stability. The opposition is showing a very fragmented face, and people want at this very troubled time a solid government that projects stability, that is able to control the forces that are there, particularly the economy, and give this feeling that, look, we are not going to fall in the same trap as, say, Bangladesh or Nepal did, but we will certainly, at this time, we are prospering economically. And that's why you see the high ratings that's there. So the big thing is that the Prime Minister offers political stability and a clear direction, whereas the opposition is not able to project that. Though Rahul Gandhi's numbers, by the way, have not dropped, in fact, it has increased 2%, but as you rightly pointed out, the gap remains pretty substantial between the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi. And if you see the third challengers, Mamata Banerjee, she's about 1.7%. So really, Rahul Gandhi remains the prime challenger for the Prime Minister's post from the opposition side, but he is unable to close that gap with Prime Minister Modi, who is head and shoulders and soaring high above him at 30% ratings better. Is it 30%? Sorry, 27?
27 to 52. So it's about a 25%,
25%,
25 to 28%
I
gap.
stand
But
corrected, yes.
you know, Brajesh Kalappa, what it shows is that, and this is a consistent pattern. You see, the India Today Mood of the Nation tracker is interesting because it's done biannually for the last 2 decades. If I look at during Manmohan Singh's term, by the 6th and 7th year, a decline had set in. With Prime Minister Modi, I don't see that decline setting in. Now, there could be various factors for that, but Sanjay Jha is also joining us at the moment. Mr. Jha, you've been a critic of the Prime Minister, but the truth of the matter is this trust factor. I keep repeating this word. There's a sense that people seem to have built a trust factor with Prime Minister Modi through good times and bad. How do you explain it at a time when many incumbents across the world, look at Donald Trump's ratings in America, they've gone down substantially. But here somehow, the Prime Minister almost seems Teflon-like.
Well, Rajdeep, the answer to that question is fairly simplistic. I was looking at the number of democracies that went to elections in 2024, and in majority of them, there was a change of government. India seems to be an outlier, and there's a very significant reason behind it. And to cut to the chase, unfortunately, I would believe that the opposition of the country has not been able to get the message across that it is dealing currently with a government which is authoritarian or sectarian and has not created a level playing field. The messaging, the political messaging, doesn't seem to have that emotional connect. I believe that if you look at the BJP over the last 11 years, and you have said it yourself on India Today multiple times, the cocktail that they have used is hyper-nationalism, Hindutva, and welfare and subsidies. And you look at all these 3 criteria, hyper-nationalism has been punctured after Operation Sindoor and the Pahalgam massacre. I think Mr. Modi doesn't command that same muscular, macho image that he had before. On subsidies, India is struggling as an economy. Look at jobs, look at inequality, look at the poverty levels, agrarian distress. Nothing has changed. In fact, the numbers have got progressively worse. And as far as Hindutva is concerned, I don't think I need to say it. I think every panelist, even though they're supporters of this government, will have to concede that India has never looked more toxic and poisonous as it looks today.
But
If
Sanjay Jha,
despite all these headwinds, Mr. Modi seems to be
but
the
Sanjay Jha,
preferred
my
choice,
question
it
is,
is basically a
for all the
bankruptcy of
concerns or
alternative
what,
options.
your disagreement may be with Prime Minister Modi's leadership and his functioning, why is it that the opposition is not able to come up with an alternative? The last mood of the nation was done in August. After that, Bihar went to polls. Then it was Maharashtra local body elections. The BJP and the Mahayuti in Maharashtra, the NDA in Bihar, they swept these elections. So certainly, Mr. Modi and his party is doing something right.
And it's not just the opposition. Look at Mr. Modi's own satisfaction numbers. They remain high, Sanjay Jha. So there is something, I come back to it. There seems to be, Mr. Modi has been able to build a connect, whether it's emotional, whether it's a perceptual, but there is a connect that Mr. Modi has built that seems to reflect in these numbers and in elections since 2024.
Well, Rajdeep and Maria, I think a very pertinent question. The answer is very straightforward. That the Congress is now seen as the representative of the entire India alliance. And the Congress is a linchpin, and I support the Congress ideologically, but I think politically, organizationally, and electorally, the Congress has not been able to inspire confidence in the country as a whole that it is a party waiting to assume power. And I think it's been a failure of that positioning, whether it's the denting of the image of Rahul Gandhi over several years that continues to become some kind of a, I would call as a Damocles sword over the India alliance.
No, so you're not going to give Mr. Modi any credit. You're going to put the blame that the quality of the opposition is what is making Mr. Modi look stronger than before. Sanju Verma wants to counter that. Sanju Verma, here is Sanjay Jha saying that these numbers actually are more a reflection on the quality of the opposition, particularly the Congress, and less about anything spectacular that Prime Minister Modi has done, especially in the last year when the relationship with the US has gone into a tailspin, when we've had Pahalgam, we had Operation Sindoor, Donald Trump taking credit for the ceasefire, and economic uncertainty.
Rajdeep, the way you've summarized what the suspended Congress acolyte has said, I hope you will even summarize my arguments, because when you summarize the negativity, you are reinforcing something for your audience, and I can see through the charade. Now let me answer, rebutting every allegation very pointedly. Operation Sindoor has come up in discussion again and again. In 2016, via the surgical strike, we crossed the LOC. In 2019, via the barcode strike, we crossed the international border. But for the first time under Operation Sindoor, we not only crossed the LOC, we not only crossed the international border, we struck at the heart of Rawalpindi. So for anyone to sit here and, wax eloquent that, Operation Sindoor really quite did not give us a comparative advantage seems to be living in La La Land. The second thing, you want to talk about Donald Trump and tariffs? I want to talk about the fact that it's raining FTAs, India Mauritius FTA, India Oman FTA, India New Zealand FTA, India Australia FTA, India UK FTA, and the mother of all deals, India European Union FTA, creating a market of 2 billion people, accounting for 24% of global GDP, one-third
So
of
you're
world
saying
trade,
Prime Minister Modi has turned
23%
adversity
of
into
world
opportunity. Am
population.
I correct? Since you asked me to summarize, you're saying Prime Minister Modi
Can
has
I
turned
finish?
adversity. Just a minute. Prime Minister Modi has turned adversity into opportunity and thereby reinforced his image as
Can
a
I
leader you
finish?
can trust. As a
This
leader
is
you
not
can trust. Am I correct? No, I'm asking
No,
you.
can
Am
I
I
finish?
correct?
No, you will give me time. I heard Sanjay Jha. You did not interject even once. Please extend the courtesy to BJP.
Go ahead,
I say
ma'am.
that very humbly. Thank you. Let me finish now, and you can summarize after I'm done. And my final point is this, that for 20 years, the Congress also tried. Who finally ensured that the India-European Union FTA came through? It was a man called Narendra Modi. You don't want to give him credit? Good luck to you. But the fact of the matter is, when somebody on your panel sits here and says, economic uncertainty is one of the reasons why the mojo of this government is done and dusted. You're talking about economic uncertainty? 9.7% growth in 2022, 7.6% in
Rejoinder,
2023,
please.
9.2% in 2024, 6.5% in 2025, and estimated 7.4% in 2026. Show me another economy which is growing at 7.5% plus with retail inflation at less than 2%. There's only one name, that is India. And final 10 seconds, Rajdeep.
Rajdeep, a rejoinder, please.
Okay.
Just 10 seconds, please.
Can I now summarize? Ma'am, can I
finish
summarize? No,
10 seconds?
ma'am, allow
I
me
said
now to
10
summarize.
seconds.
Okay,
I said
10
10
seconds.
seconds, please. 10
Yes.
seconds. Thank you, Rajdeep.
Yes.
For smaller mercies. 12 crore Swachh Bharat toilets. 10 crore gas cylinders under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. More than 42 crore Ayushman cards given to the poor and the needy. More than 4 crore houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. More than 43 lakh crore loans given under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. And guess what? More than
Fake news,
72%
ladies and
beneficiaries
gentlemen.
of all these schemes are people from OBC, Dalit or
Okay.
tribal communities. So the
I
Modi
take
government
your
has
point.
walked the talk.
Can I now summarize? Sanjay Jha, the fact is, what Sanju Verma is saying, the Prime Minister, as I said, has turned adversity into opportunity. For example, tariffs threats by the US, you go and strike win-win deals with other countries and other trade groupings. The fact is that the Prime Minister, as Sanju Verma says, did take the decision, or the government took the decision to strike at terrorist camps inside Pakistan. The fact is, despite the economic headwinds that are there, India is still doing better than many other large economies in terms of the headline numbers. The truth of the matter is, therefore, all of this inspires an element of trust in Prime Minister Modi. Will you not give him any credit? The same question can also be put to Mr. Kalappa, but Sanjay, very quickly, and then Mr. Kalappa.
Sure. Rajdeep, let me tell you, I am also a student of economics. I've never felt more embarrassed than when the International Monetary Fund, a respected international agency, questioned the veracity of India's GDP data, calling it C grade. We have concerns India's data is opaque. Arvind Subramaniam, a chief economic advisor to the Modi government, is on record to say that India's GDP, and his latest book is, by the way, a brilliant book that tells you how India's problems are structural and extremely deep, and the data is flawed. Crony capitalism in this country is through the roof. We have become a plutocracy, which is why you can see India is suffering from inequality. And last but not the least, can we talk about the CAG corruption under this government? It brought down the UPA. It should bring down the Modi government if there was enough people with courage and conviction to take it to the public domain. This is a corrupt
Okay,
government.
no.
This is an
Sanju
incompetent
Verma, he
government.
did not
This is a
interrupt you.
cunning
You must have the
government. This is a
courtesy to listen to
communal
Brajesh
government.
Kalappa very quickly, because then Maria has statewide results to offer. Brajesh Kalappa, when you look, at the end of the day, we are only giving numbers.
He's lying.
Just a minute, ma'am. We are just looking at the numbers, and the numbers are heavily weighed in the NDA's favor at the moment.
See, Rajdeep, as far as hyper-nationalism is concerned, and this is something which the Modi government and the BJP have always been known for. I think three issues have really dented this government on that front. One, like I said, what happened in Pahalgam. Second is when Trump imposes a higher tariff than Pakistan on India, and Mr. Modi had a history of having said that
But it's not reflecting in our numbers, sir. Mr. Kalappa, all of what you're saying is not reflecting in the number. Then Mr. Modi's popularity should have significantly diminished. It has not.
No, but the point is, Rajdeep, like I pointed out earlier, that these numbers, they are at variance with what the results are. And these were the numbers you projected, like I said, in 2024. There's a difference of about 75 to 80 seats from what you projected in 2024 to what actually the BJP got or the NDA got in the May elections. I think there was a difference between 75 to 80 seats. So
there was a substantial difference, and I think Raj Chengappa, very quickly, you should answer that, because it's all very well to have mood of the nation polls saying definitively if elections are held today, 352 seats. There's a point in what Brajesh Kalappa says. We all got it wrong, including your mood of the nation of January 2024. So are you going to give some caveats that, all these polls that we put out, there will be those who will say, why should we believe it? There's no general election until 2029.
Well, yeah, I think, as you said earlier, this is a barometer at a particular point of time. There will be events that will overtake it. If you remember, in 2019, since the BJP spokesperson was talking about it, there was Balakot that happened post our polls, and we saw that the NDA went on to win handsomely. The BJP did extremely well during that time because security became a big issue. That wasn't there when the polls were being held, the Mood of the Nation polls. So there are big events that have happened. Interestingly that you mentioned that, Rajdeep, if you take a look at Operation Sindoor, and that should have given the numbers to the BJP and the NDA for their performance and their success that has happened in the August polls, but their numbers actually dropped to 260 or so. And one of the reasons is, and that is why I think you will see a lot of contradictory findings in some of these things that as we get deeper into it, is that the narrative that they built about it was knocked down by President Trump, who claimed that he brokered the peace.
Okay, I'm going to stop you, Raj, because we've got a lot of numbers to go through, particularly the states.
Perhaps it is reflecting, as Raj was saying, about contradictory numbers or narratives. Look at this number. This is about projected vote share in the poll-bound states. We are starting with what will be the mother of all battles, which will be in West Bengal. The projected vote share for the NDA in Mood of the Nation, January 2026, as of today, is 42%. India Bloc, which is largely the TMC, is at 54%. So the vote share gap is 12% between NDA and India Bloc, which is at 54%. And if it was converted into number of seats, these are Lok Sabha numbers, it will be TMC at 28. Remember, in 2024 Lok Sabha, the TMC had won 29 seats, the Congress had won 1. The BJP then had 12. Right now, the BJP is at 14, so they're making a gain of 2 seats. This is how the numbers are projected if the Lok Sabha elections were held in an important poll-bound state, which is the state of West Bengal. Now let's look at Tamil Nadu. Important election again playing out in Tamil Nadu. BJP is trying to build an important alliance. They're calling it NDA. NDA at 33%, India bloc again at 45%, a gap of 12% between India bloc, which is largely the DMK-led India bloc in Tamil Nadu. If it was to be converted into Lok Sabha numbers, NDA will be only at 1. Remember, in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, they could not really open their account. In Tamil Nadu, India at 38. It's a 39 members who come from the state of Tamil Nadu. We are moving again ahead to the state of Kerala, beautiful state. UDF at 40%. Let's move to Kerala now. LDF at 28%, BJP at 25%. So they are making a gain from 17% in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024 to now at 25%. If it was to be converted into seats, this is how the numbers would be. UDF at 18, LDF will not be able to open its account, and BJP at 2. Now, another poll-bound state, this is the state of Assam. NDA comfortably ahead at 54%. The India bloc at 33%, despite Gaurav Gogoi making some inroads or trying to make inroads, a huge gap of roughly around 21% between India bloc, which is led by Gaurav Gogoi and the Congress party. And in terms of the seat, it will be 12 and 2. So, Rajdeep, this is how the picture looks like. We'll be looking at, okay, so let's look at Uttar Pradesh also, although the elections will be in 2027 January. Uttar Pradesh firmly with the NDA at 47%, India bloc at 42%, although the gap is not much. But in Lok Sabha elections, it was 44% each. At that time, Akhilesh Yadav-led PDA did generate a positive narrative for them, which converted into number of seats in terms of advantage for them. So 80 seats is how the Lok Sabha is the total number of MPs that are sent from the state of Uttar Pradesh. Right now, if the elections were held, in NDA at 48, India bloc at 31, this is largely Samajwadi Party. But the concern is, why did their seats go down from what it was in Lok Sabha elections of 2024?
If you look at these numbers, Marianne, we've got to put the caveat, and remember, an assembly election is very different to Lok Sabha. There
Absolutely.
are local factors that play. But it's very clear. Look at the 4 poll-bound states, 4 big poll-bound states. You can add Puducherry, of course. But the 4 big poll-bound states going to the polls in April, the India Alliance at the moment is ahead in 3. The numbers of Bengal may be a bit misleading because they add the TMC's vote along with the Congress. They may not go into an alliance, almost certainly not go into an alliance in those elections. But broadly, the India Alliance is holding in terms of the number of seats they would win, or the TMC is holding. Turn to Tamil Nadu. If these numbers are right, and Tamil Nadu has a twist in those numbers because the others have gone up substantially. And who's the
TVK.
others? That's Vijay and the TVK. So the TVK is the real X factor in Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
And no one knows how that will play in Vidhan Sabha. Will he be an NTR-like figure, first day, first show, box office hit? But if these numbers hold, DMK at the moment has the edge again. So that's India Alliance. Turn to Kerala, where the BJP is growing in vote share, but the battle remains between the 2 main fronts, UDF, LDF. And the UDF, the Congress-led UDF, has an advantage. Interestingly, today, Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge met Shashi Tharoor, a sign that they want to now present a much more united front. The real, and Assam, it's very clear as of now in a bipolar race, advantage BJP. So if you look at out of the 4 states, 3 states are going to one of the India Alliance parties when the results come out in May as per these polls, 1 going to the BJP. And then Uttar Pradesh, where the real turnaround is taking place. And this and Maharashtra, the states that are giving NDA more seats if Lok Sabha elections were held today. But it shows that in the next 3 months, the opposition has opportunities. The question is the opposition good enough to capitalize on the opportunities? We'll be discussing the opposition more closely, but it also shows that different states of India still vote very, very differently, that this is not a country where one size fits all, Raj Chengappa. That as you go through states where there are regional bastions, DMK, even the TVK, the UDF and LDF, very regional parties in Kerala, TMC in Bengal, Hemanta, a strong regional leader in Assam, it almost seems that the nature of the election narrative changes. Then it's not about Mr. Modi. It's about state factors.
Exactly, Rajdeep. And I agree with the caveat you put. You can't really take these numbers and project it and think that this would work for the assembly polls. They're vastly different issues. Let's not forget the mood of the nation is about national issues, and therefore a lot of that begins to reflect in terms of the percentages. But I think the larger message here is that if TMC is holding and if Stalin is holding, then the regional forces, the regional chieftains are holding their ground, which makes it very difficult for the BJP to penetrate these states, because even at this time, as you can see, there's a 10% vote gap in say, West Bengal. And of course, in Tamil Nadu, BJP is not the real force that it wants to be. So if you look at this, the big message is that the regional forces are holding their ground. The BJP will still, even if the Congress is on the decline, as we've seen in the center, it is these forces that is propping up the India alliance. And of course, we can't say more beyond that, because finally it'll be local issues, local assessments of how this particular government has done to determine who will win.
And interestingly, also in 2024, Rajdeep, that narrative of 400 par made the NDA-led BJP, I should say BJP, very complacent. So the BJP supporters in a state such as Uttar Pradesh also realized it was a long election spread across several phases, that should they really have to exercise their right to vote, or wait, because it will be 400 par anyways. So I think that complacency that the BJP had in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, they have tried to really repair, done some kind of course correction, gone back to the real drawing board to fix those problems, and that's why we are seeing multiple state elections turn around.
Absolutely. And what has happened is, I think it's very interesting. In the run-up to 2024,
yes,
the BJP was overconfident. In the post-2024 scenario,
right,
the opposition almost got complacent. Thought that if we've done reasonably well, not as if they had got some majority, reasonably well, that momentum will carry forward. As we are seeing in a state like Uttar Pradesh, clearly the BJP has done course correction. Clearly the BJP is a party which is willing to be very flexible at times. The Congress, on the other hand, it's only now that you've got Shashi Tharoor back on board so that you have a strong front in Kerala, because you've realized that some opinion polls are saying there is a Tharoor factor on the ground, especially among the young. You've got to be very nimble and flexible in politics. And I think that's something that the BJP has shown that it is. But moment you go into state elections and with regional players, the BJP finds, as we found in previous elections, much tougher to take on regional parties than they have national party. The Congress almost seems as their perfect enemy, their perfect opponent at times. Easier for them to take on the Congress, like in an Assam, it appears, in a bipolar fight, than it is in an election where local factors and regional parties matter.
But Rajdeep, the counter can be that there was an important election in Bihar.
Right.
The challenger was a regional player. But why was it not able to even put up a fight in the state?
Because, Maria, they had a regional leader in Nitish Kumar. You see, the BJP has different formulae for different states. Where you have a strong regional player against them, you find a strong regional leader with whom you ally. JDU brought a lot, Nitish in particular, brought a lot to the BJP's basket in 2025 Bihar. So I think the BJP has learned the art of how to fight elections. Now, there
in different ways in different states.
Sam Dam Danda Bhed. I know that Sanju Verma will not like my using the word, and she's welcome to respond to that. But the BJP is an election machine. I'm not saying that Sanju ji in a negative way. Jo jeeta wo Sikandar. But as you are seeing in 2026, in 3 of the 4 states, as of now, the India alliance is ahead of you, or as you call it, the ... alliance.
Rajdeep, I want to say one thing. During my MBA days, our marketing professors told us that the worst thing you can do to a product which has failed is to refuse to take that product off the shelf. Rahul Gandhi, under his belt, has 95 plus electoral losses, big and small, to his credit or discredit, as you will. Yet, the Congress Darbari ecosystem feels Rahul Gandhi is the next thing after brown bread and spaghetti. Rahul Gandhi, unko mubarak ho. I want to say one, as you said it, and even Maria, BJP is not just, an electoral juggernaut or an election machine. I think we carefully analyze the electoral factors in every given state. We know that what works in UP will not work in Haryana, what works in Maharashtra will not work in Madhya Pradesh, what works in Goa will certainly not work in West Bengal going forward. That is the second point. But the third and the most important point, you can call me a Modi cheerleader, you can call me a Modi andhbhakt. I really don't care. When I say you, I mean the Darbari ecosystem, not Rajdeep specifically. The fact of the matter is, on the one hand, you have a man called Narendra Modi who's working 24/7. On the other hand, you have a prime ministerial aspirant in Rahul Gandhi who before the Bihar election campaign was in Malaysia. In the middle of the Bihar election campaign was in Peru. Can I finish now, please? This is not fair. 10 seconds. Please bear with me. Please. In the middle of the Bihar campaign, Rajdeep Sardesai, my good friend, Rahul Gandhi, was in Peru, Brazil, and Colombia.
No, but the opposition is winning 3 of the 4 states. Ma'am, I have only, we have time limits. Rahul Gandhi, we are going to discuss in the next.
Please?
We are going to discuss Rahul
10
Gandhi.
seconds.
Madam,
10
I am
seconds.
only asking you to assess the 4 state
10
finding that Brajesh. You see, the
No,
opposition.
10 seconds. No, this is unfair. 10 seconds, please.
No,
10
everything
seconds.
cannot be
Thank you.
unfair.
No,
10 seconds, exactly 10.
Yes, yes, and without you interjecting. Hold your horses. You know, in the middle of the Bihar elections, Rahul Gandhi in Peru, Brazil, Colombia, and after Bihar elections, when he got 6 out of 61 seats, I would have thought he will stand shoulder to shoulder with his Congress karyakartas, but he was holidaying in Muscat. You are not there with your karyakartas when they lose. You're not there when they win.
Okay,
What kind
your,
of a
your
leader
10
is
seconds
this?
are up, ma'am. You're not answering why
Okay.
is the opposition doing so well in the state elections coming up. I just want Brajesh Kalappa. Brajesh Kalappa, if these results hold, they are Lok Sabha findings and therefore the sample size is also smaller. But if these findings hold, do you believe the India Alliance is still alive? Or do you believe the India Alliance will have to be reinvented? A quick answer.
No, see, Rajdeep, as far as the India Alliance is concerned, I think your figures are showing what the likely results are going to be. But as far as Sanju Verma's comment about Rahul Gandhi, first of all, she has to make up her mind. Is she a well-wisher of the Congress party? Why is she thinking so much about the Congress party and its leadership? Let her focus on what the BJP is. They need not lecture us on who we are going to make as a leader. In 2014,
Yeah,
we
but,
never...
none of you are explaining, none of you, by your focus on Rahul Gandhi, none of you are explaining to me, which I would have liked to hear, why is it that the opposition seems to be doing well in states with strong regional satraps?
Then what about Mr. Modi? We all
No, no.
expected in 2014 that Mr. Wadhwani will become the Prime Minister. How did Mr. Modi come over? So is he
Okay.
also a selected
Brajesh-
Prime Minister?
Brajesh
so
Kalappa.
leave us to our affairs. Let congressmen decide who we are going to have as a leader.
Okay,
We
Brajesh
don't have
Kalappa,
to
we've
give
heard you.
us
No, we've heard both sides.
recommendations
None
on
of
this
you
stuff.
are trying to explain. You see, that's why we are trying to analyze the numbers before us. Just as Prime Minister Modi's ratings are very high, as of now, in the opposition-ruled states at the moment, or states of the India Alliance is holding. And that is interesting because it shows a difference between the way there is a perception of Prime Minister Modi on national issues and how state issues are perceived by the same voters. And maybe that reflects, in a way, Indian democracy, hopefully, as a much more diverse democracy than we sometimes imagine. I want to take a break, Maria, because we will go back to the opposition and Rahul Gandhi in a moment. Every Mood of the Nation poll invariably ends up with Rahul Gandhi as a central figure.